Hi everyone, this is Cindy with Create the Heart, and today I'm going to be playing with alcohol ink. So I recently purchased some alcohol ink from the Not Too Shabby shop. I bought the Barely Arts alcohol ink. It comes in two different packs. One is a pack of 12 classic colors, and then another is, I think it's 6. Some other items that I'm showing you guys in the Mr. bottle is 91% alcohol. You need at least 91% in order to use it with alcohol inks. I'm also showing blending solution. The Barely Arts glue comes with blending solution, but you also can buy some from Ranger. I'm also showing you some Ranger mixatives. These, the ones I have, are silver and gold. So if you want to add some metallic looks to your alcohol ink backgrounds, you can do that. I'm also showing the alcohol lift up stamp pad, and some other items you might need is some felt, and so that's kind of what you use if you kind of want to spread your ink on there instead of just kind of pouring it. And Ranger comes with, you know, an alcohol ink kind of system that includes the handle as well as the felt. I've got some distressed ink tags, which I'm going to try, and some alcohol ink cardstock, which is like a glossy cardstock. And then these are some of the backgrounds that I made when I was playing with my alcohol inks. None of these are the Ranger except for the mixatives. Everything comes from that Barely Arts kit. And so, in this one, I actually used this stencil from the Not Too Shabby shop. And just lots of different backgrounds that I made, which I probably will incorporate in various different projects, you know, throughout the year. But we are going to go ahead and do a little playing so you can just kind of see how you can just kind of lay down ink and how you can make some really cool backgrounds, just something different. It does make an unholy mess. So I have a paper plate as well as a paper towel, and then I have a piece of wax paper just to protect everything. My hands are still stained, and it does make a mess. So be aware of that and protect yourself accordingly. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and use the felt, which I haven't used, I just got it, and I'm going to pour drops of ink right onto the felt. And so the Barely Arts little kit, the Classics kit, is a really good price. I think it's $24 at the Not Too Shabby shop. I have a 10% discount coupon in my description box. But it is a really good deal if you just want to kind of start playing around with alcohol inks. It's a good way to do it for reasonable. And so I'm just putting some pink, and I think I'm doing white, and I'm also gonna do some turquoise. And this way you can, I'm gonna use it on the Distress ink tag, which is more porous, and then I'm also gonna use it on the glossy cardstock, so you can kind of see the difference in when you use different substrates, how you get a different sort of look. It's definitely going to look darker, I believe, on the tag than it does on the glossy cardstock. So I'm just kind of messing around. It's going to be kind of making a purple color. That pink and that blue kind of make purple. And then I am actually going to use, I believe I'm going to spritz the 91% alcohol. And I just bought that from Amazon. Just search 91% alcohol and you can find it. And so, and like I said, this is an unholy mess, but, oh no, I lied. I'm going to use blending solution. I'm going to use blending solution. I lied. So I think another one I'm going to use alcohol. So, I'm going to go ahead and just use that thing right over it. I'm kind of pouring some of that on there. And so all you do is just swipe it, and that's the color that you get. And it's just a really quick and easy. You can do like a rainbow, I think would be really cool, but you can see how that made purple. and so I'm just going to kind of set that aside and let it dry. But I still have quite a bit of ink on that felt, and they really are not reusable. So you should probably try to get as much ink out of that as you can. I mean, they're relatively inexpensive felt pads. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull out a glossy, and this is the one that I'm going to spray with that 91% alcohol. And now I'm going to go ahead and you can see it's a much lighter application. And so I think it's pretty. Then you get that purple and that pink. And I'm going to go ahead and set those aside to dry because it's going to be a hot mess. I think I might put some, I don't know if I put any silver on this, we'll see. Oh yeah, I'm pouring some silver mixative. So in order to get that mixative to move, you need to spray it with some blending solution or with the alcohol ink. I'm going to do alcohol ink, and that will help kind of move it around a little bit. And you can blow it, you know, with a straw or like a blower, or you can just kind of move it around, and it'll kind of drip and drab and kind of blend in. It doesn't really blend, but because it kind of sits on top, but it, you know, it looks pretty cool, you know. And you can just kind of blow it. You can get it moving some more. I use a straw a little bit just to kind of move it a little bit. But you can just kind of tip it and it'll drip. And I'm okay with it looking very sort of organic because, you know, you can use these as backgrounds to other projects, or you can go ahead and you can die cut. So you can just take your dies and you can die cut right out of that and use it. And so I sprayed it a little bit with some more alcohol, and then I poured some more silver mixative, and that product is from Ranger. I don't know if Jamie carries that in her shop or not, but I happen to have it. So you just kind of tip it and see what you get. I think that this would make a pretty card for like using a sunset, that purple and pink sunset. I think would be pretty, like a Hawaiian card or something. But you can see that they look very different. So the tag is definitely darker. It has like a darker palette to it. And so on this one, I am pouring just a little bit of the black, and I'm actually going to do it around the you know, the outside of this tag, because I've decided that I'm going to make this into like a galaxy background. I don't know when I'm going to use this because I don't have time to do it on this video, but I am going to go ahead eventually use this tag and make it into a galaxy. And so I'm just kind of blending it a little bit with that leftover ink that's on that felt pad. And so I'm going to sprinkle some white paint on it later, and that will be a galaxy tag. So this is yeah, you can make galaxy backgrounds with the alcohol inks as well. I'm sure there's lots of different combinations. I'm probably going to go on YouTube and find out what they are, because I do like making galaxy backgrounds. Those are really fun. And so I'm going to set those aside and kind of let them dry. And now we're going to look at a different way to put ink, a really super easy way. So I'm going to get out another piece of cardstock, I believe. So this is another piece of that glossy alcohol cardstock. And so I want to get some ink on here because I want it to dry in enough time, because I want to show you guys how you can stencil. You know, one way that you can stencil, I'm sure there's many ways, but one way that you can stencil. You can see my hands are filthy. It's an unholy mess with the alcohol ink, so be prepared for that. So I'm going to be doing some yellow because I'm going to be using the honeycomb stencil from the Not Too Shabby shop. So I'm going to spray with some alcohol spray, and then I'm going to drop some yellow. I think I'm going to do some orange, and then I'm going to do some more yellow because it started looking a little too orange for me. And then I'm just going to kind of swirl it around. I think I'm doing a little bit of white as well, just to kind of, because those colors are bright. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move this around and kind of get that ink all over. I kind of want a full coverage on this, even though I think you can, like, it'd be really cool, like for a volcano or something like that, to kind of leave it little bits, or like a cave or something. But I'm going to try and get some more, I want some coverage on here. So I'm pouring some more yellow on here, and I'm going to go ahead and pour that all over. So the thing is, because I'm putting wax paper down, all your excess ink could fall on there, and it stays, it dries eventually, but you could go ahead and you could dip more, you could dip your paper, which I'm going to go ahead and soak it up with the distress ink tag there, or the distress tag, just maybe so I don't make as much of a mess. But so I'm kind of dripping it on, and so that is a really easy way of making a background. And so then I'm just taking the tag and kind of soaking up that ink, and more or less so that I'm not going to make a mess on myself with it. But definitely it can be used as well. I mean, it's got a nice little splatter. So right now I'm going to show how you can use the alcohol lift off ink pad to stamp. And it's a very subtle kind of look, depending on your background. And so I had actually tried this on another piece of alcohol ink. So it had a little bit of pink on the stamp. So it kind of transferred, and actually I really love how it came out. So it was a happy accident because it kind of blended with my other stuff. So basically the way that it works is it lifts off the ink. So that is not really it's kind of stamping through osmosis. So you ink up your stamp, and this is the, I think it's called Hello, Little Hello from the Not Too Shabby shop. And so I'm inking it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp, and it's going to lift up some of that ink, leaving the stamp impression. And so you want to do it multiple times just so that you can get the lift off that you can get. And you can rub it with a paper towel to get more of the ink off if you want, which I've kind of forgot to do. But it's still there, and it is very subtle. But I like how it comes out, so it's all good. So yeah, I'm going to do it a couple of times just so I can get the best impression. And I also would like to do some ink embossing of a sentiment in the middle there. And so it's really going to pop. And I am using, I'm going to use a VersaFine Claire Onyx ink. And this is the first time I've used it. And I actually bought this pad from the Not Too Shabby shop. And when I ink emboss, I always like to put down a little bit of powder. I use the Tailored Expressions powder tool. And so I've got my powder tool there, and I'm going to go ahead and lay down some powder so that my my embossing powder will not stick. It'll only stick to the ink. And so this VersaFine, apparently you can do a lot of techniques with it, but it does take a little bit longer to dry, which makes it good for embossing. And so I'm using some black embossing powder called Jet Black by Tonic Studios. It's a very fine powder, and so it is going to work really well for this project. And this is a brand new ink pad, so it's very juicy. So it really, just one time, it worked perfectly. So now I'm going to pour my embossing powder over it, and then I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss it. I have a Milwaukee heat gun that I've had for a million years, and it works great. You can see me heating it, just heat it enough so that the embossing powder melts, and it just does give it a really nice pop of color. And I put the excess back in the bottle so I don't get it all over myself. So I'm going to grab a card base, and I'm also going to grab an image that I have pre-colored from that little Hello stamp set from the Not Too Shabby shop. And so I'm going to use a little bit of glue and attach that image. And in order to put this on my card, I'm going to be using some double-sided tape, because I just find that, you know, when you treat your card panel, even one that's made for alcohol ink, with a lot of ink, it does have a tendency to curl, and I find that the double-sided tape helps keep it down when you put it on your card base. And so that's what I did there. And now I'm going to work on showing you guys how to use the stencil. And so this is the panel that we had made earlier, the yellow panel. It's dry, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it over a paper towel, I think, because, you know, it's dry. So I'm taking just one of those little felt pieces, and I'm spraying it with the 91% alcohol, and then I'm just kind of dabbing it and rubbing it over the stencil and through the ink background. So it's another way of lifting off some of the ink. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm not doing it all over. I'm just kind of doing it in spots here and there. And so I'm just kind of rubbing it through. And so when I lift it up, you see a very subtle image, right? It's taken up some of the ink, and you can see those hexagons shining through. And then you can kind of take a paper towel and kind of dab it, and that will take off a little bit more of the ink so that you can see that stenciled image. And it is subtle, but you definitely can see it, and I think it's really pretty. So I am taking the panel that I had made previously, because I want that other panel to kind of dry. And so I have another panel that I have already made that that you can see right there that I already made, that actually I did a little gold fixative as well that I have stenciled through already. And so I'm going to use this one to make a card. I'm going to use ephemera pieces from the Not Too Shabby shop. And you guys can see that I am going to do some foam, and I'm going to tuck the little girl behind is what I'm going to do. I'm also going to heat emboss a sentiment in the corner there. And I'm looking for like a little bead too. But yeah, I'm putting a little bit of foam on the bottom there so that my little girl can kind of tuck behind that little fat flower spray, because I thought that'd be really cute. And then I'll glue that little girl behind. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm looking for here, but we're going to go ahead and put this card together. So I did go ahead and heat emboss an image, or I'm sorry, a sentiment onto the front of the card. And now putting it all together, I think the last piece I've got is my little bee that I want to put on there. And I'm going to put the bee, I think, on a little bit of foam tape. And so these were that was the background that we had made to begin with. And then here is my galaxy tag. So now that it's dried, it definitely looks like a galaxy. So I'm taking, just because it's convenient for me, I'm taking my white Copic paint or whatever it is, and I'm just flicking some white drops on my galaxy tag to really kind of make it look like a galaxy tag. And so it really looks like either a night sky or space. So I think it'd be really, really cute with some space themed items. And it's kind of got a little bit of a big blob, but I'm not too worried about it. And so that one came out really nice. I like it. And then we have the other purple, which is much lighter. And I think